What's up, late night crew? Today we're going to be taking a look at the new season reveal for Rainbow Six Siege. I haven't been following any of the leaks. I've seen bits and pieces here and there. I know the person's in a wheelchair. It's been known for a while now. So now we're just going to be taking a look at the new stuff, and we're going to see how it all plays out. Here we go, everybody. Let's get ready for Operation Twin Shells. Operation Twin Shells.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Operation Twin Shells. I'm Camille Salazar-Hadaway, and it's time to hear straight from the developers themselves all about Year 9
Woo!
Season
Let's
3
go,
of
everybody.
Rainbow Six Siege. This season brings an innovative new operator and a versatile new weapon.
So I've heard based on the year plan that they had before that this should include the attacker AI, and I'm so excited for that, and I really hope that they don't say that that's canceled. So
Let's kick it off with an
We'll see.
overview of the season from creative director Alexander Karpazes.
Year 9 Season 3 is all about Operation Twin Shells. But before we jump into that, it's really important that we acknowledge that we heard from you and we haven't met the expectations that you had for Operation New
I was
Blood.
about to say,
and we want to reinforce that we are dedicated
They're
to
not
this
gonna meet
game
our expectations.
and that we are putting more resources than ever into it. And you'll start to see that with Operation Twin Shells.
we'll see about that.
Operation Twin Shells is
We'll
all
see.
about the game. And we have more like the Siege Cup coming in
Siege
beta
Cup,
phase.
let's go.
We also have balancing
That's so
changes.
exciting.
We have After Action 2.0 coming online, and we have so much more for you. We can't wait to dig into it. So let's begin.
I'll wait to talk about Siege Cup until I actually start getting
Let's
into it.
talk about an important topic right off the bat. Cheating and toxicity
I
are
knew that
not
was gonna be
just
the first thing they
concerns
talked
for
about.
you, they are critical issues for us as well. To address this, we've restructured our team to dedicate even more resources to these challenges. Now, to share exclusive details and updates on the current and upcoming player protection projects, here's Alexander Karpazes and product owner Lancelot Seiji.
Lancelot? That's an interesting way to say it. I would have thought that would have been Lancelot, like Sir
We
Lancelot.
want to
but-
assure you that we have more than just one security system in place. More than just BattleEye. We have 6 detection systems
6?
running at any given time so that we
Dude,
can catch cheaters.
no way.
And we're constantly improving these systems.
6. I wouldn't have known that based on how many people complain about cheaters, and yeah, I wouldn't have known that. I even see YouTube videos of people cheating on Siege. That's gotta be the easiest one to catch, right? They're literally showing you that they're cheating.
On top of this, we want to talk about a pillar as well for our anti-cheat, which is binary hardening. Binary hardening is the act of obfuscating and making it harder for cheat makers to access the game. Think of it like a giant library, where a cheat maker is trying to find a specific book. For us, we'll be trying to change that book's location as much as possible. And even on top of that, changing the shelves and the entire library so that it's as confusing and as hard for a cheat maker as possible, so that in the end, they cannot effectively make cheats for our game. When it comes to Siege Cup, for those that have won and have cheated, they will be banned. But of course, their teammates will have access revoked from Siege Cup as well.
Interesting.
Ensuring that competitive integrity remains in Siege.
So I was gonna talk about Siege Cup once I got to it. They're obviously not there yet, but that is really cool because it disincentivizes people from queuing with cheaters for Siege Cup too, because then they'll just be revoked from it forever. So that's kind of, well, they didn't say forever. I'm assuming it's forever.
Another area of improvement is time to ban. 75% of bans are happening 12 hours sooner now. And this is something that we'll be working on in the future to reduce that time as much as possible. As you may have seen in our August update for anti-cheat, the team has grown in size. It's now a multidisciplinary team that is actually one of the largest in-house anti-cheat teams in the world for any given project. And for us, that means we're totally dedicated to making sure that Siege is the best it can be when it comes to anti-cheat.
But just because it's the largest doesn't mean it's the best. I've still heard that even though there are cheaters in Valorant, it is much less of a problem than it is in Siege. So unless your team is actually doing something to make a difference, I don't think it really matters. We'll see. Hopefully it gets better, but we'll see.
In the anti-toxicity team, our mission is simple: ensuring a safe space for all players in Rainbow Six Siege. It means protecting the community from recurrent and highly toxic players while rewarding recurrent positive behavior. Our mission includes handling features like reverse friendly fire, Texas censorship, reports, abandoned penalties, match cancellation, commendation system, and of course, the reputation system.
These are all things we've
Our
seen
philosophy
before.
centers around 3 key principles: transparency, understandability, and clarity. In its current state, the reputation system has some weaknesses and is not trusted by the community. This is why we decided to overhaul it. It means reviewing its structure, the actions that are feeding it,
just came out
and
with it.
the in-game UI. And to be clear, a single negative action will have a minimal impact on you. Only the recurrence of this action will affect your reputation. We aim to give you access to those changes in YANA in S4. The system will remain in beta. It means no impact on standing until we are 100% confident it meets your and our standards of transparency, understandability.
What season are we on right now? Yeah, so we're going into season 3 right now. I don't know why he's talking about season 4. I want to know about season 3. Is it going to be in beta in season 3 and then releasing full in season 4? Is that what he said?
Will affect your reputation. We aim to give you access to those changes in YANA in S4. The system will remain in beta. It means no impact on standing until we are 100% confident it meets your and our standards of transparency, understandability, and clarity. Additionally, we are still working on some very impactful features that we cannot wait to share with you by the end of the year.
When you finish a match in Operation Twin Shells, things are going to have
not really
a
a lot of
brand new
updates there
look.
besides binary hardening.
Please
Hopefully
welcome
that's
senior
nice.
game designer Vladimir Kozik to walk you through the new post-action report. Plus, game director Joshua Mills is here to talk about boosting the abilities of your drones.
Oh, they're going to talk about the drone jump lines, kind of like they added for gadget
In
throwing
new
lines.
season, we are introducing post-action report in a completely new dimension. Instead of operator cards, there will be a new screen with teammates represented as 3D operators located on the same map they just played. Here they can command teammates and opponents. On the next screen, instead of sequence of separated tabs, all progression like crank, clearance, battle pass, also including challenges this time, will be comfortably organized on a single page layout that highlights the most important information. I'm so excited with.
One of the things that'll be interesting is whether or not they're going to fix the challenges, because sometimes the challenges come out and then they won't start counting for a little bit. That if your say your challenge is to flash 7 people and you bring Ying and you flash our entire team, and then it doesn't actually count towards the challenge. It still says you have 0 7 flashes. So hopefully they fix that, and we'll see that if it is actually going to be shown here on this player screen. That would be nice, and then we can see at the end of a match whether or not we actually got credit for what we did. But we'll see. They usually fix that within a day or two, though, of the new challenges coming out. So I don't know why that happens, or maybe it's just me. Maybe if it's you too, comment down below. I'm curious to know if it's just me, because I have never seen anybody else have that problem, I don't think so. But I also haven't done a ton of research into it, so we'll see.
That highlights the most important information. I'm so excited with this update. I can't wait our players try it out and share their feedback with us.
Drone Boost is a new feature coming to our attacker lineup. The goal here is to continue to reinforce our attackers, make sure they have the tools to get the job done. Intel is king in Siege, and keeping your drone alive is crucial to getting that intel. Some of the changes we did to Solus helped with that, but we want to go further. We want to give more power to our players, specifically the attackers. So Drone Boost means you can actually boost your drone a maximum of 3 times, 3 seconds per boost. You can cancel it mid-boost to quickly evade, quickly close distances, and each boost, once expended, takes 6 seconds to recharge.
That's really cool.
So the boost resource system is actually kind of similar to Maverick's Torch in the sense that you can cancel the action at any time and it doesn't fully deplete the boost. so you can cut up a boost as needed. But again, you'll only have 3 full ones. Drone boost isn't limited to just the default drone. The clutches from Bravo or even Twitch's drone can also take advantage of this feature. If Mozzie happens to get his hands on one of these drones and there's still charges left, so that's the key factor here. If there's still charges on that drone, now they're Mozzie's to use. So the future of drones in Siege is really focused on their economy, which means making sure they can survive longer, or at least
Looks like it applies to Echo's drones as well.
And the tools they need in order to make sure their drones can survive longer. They should be used more regularly in the middle and late game of the rounds, and we want to make sure that you have those tools in your arsenal to be able to make things happen.
That is really interesting. I don't hate the idea for sure. I think it's going to change the way that attackers are able to get away with drones. Maybe you're still going to have to be not stupid and throw them away, but it's going to give more options for more late round droning, where you would usually have lost your drones because you're not being careful with them or something, but maybe you're actually able to get away now. That's not a bad change.
And we want to make sure that you have those tools in your arsenal to be able to make things happen.
If you like competition, this next update
Here
is
we
for
go.
you.
Siege Cup coming up.
The new Siege Cup beta is coming this season for select players to test their 5
For select
stats
players.
in intense tournament play.
And
a
it
new
has to be
reward
5
system
stats. You
is
can't
coming
still
as
look it
well for both Siege Cup and ranked matches. Plus,
And new
a
reward
few
system, that's nice.
more interesting updates that live content director Christopher Budgeon is going to tell you all about.
Okay, let's see what you got. I'm excited.
In Year 9, Season 3, Operation Twin Shells, we're happy to announce the beta of Siege Cup. We made the decision to restrict Siege Cup beta to the PC platform because
so
we can
that's
be
why it's
much more
select.
reactive. If something
PC
happens with
platform.
the Siege Cup, we can address it much faster than with other platforms. We really want to launch Siege Cup in its full form in Year 9 Season 4. Competitive integrity is imperative for Siege. That's why having a beta to make sure we can register the squads, formulate the
like it'd be 3
brackets,
games.
distribute the rewards,
Double
we
elimination.
have to get it right. To register your team for the Siege Cup beta, follow the QR code or the link that you see on the screen, and get ready for news about the first Siege Cup coming your way.
That's so sick.
With
I'm so
Siege
excited for
Cup,
that.
you have to register as a 5-stack, meaning that you have to bring 4 of your friends,
I already
get
picked
ready
up
to
on that.
compete until the
Thanks, I
tournament is
appreciate
over.
the clarification.
Once the Siege Cup starts, you're there, committed to the Siege Cup, to play until you get eliminated or, of course, win the tournament. We see the Siege Cup beta as our most competitive playlist, even more so than ranked, because the stakes are extremely high.
What are the
The
stakes?
first Siege Cup will be near the beginning
If you
of
lose
Year
first
9
round,
Season
you
3,
lose your account?
And after the finish of the first tournament, we'll run another every 2 weeks for the remainder of Year 9 Season 3. In Year 9 Season 3, we're introducing a new currency called competitive coins. Competitive coins are exclusive to our competitive playlist, that being ranked and Siege Cup. Get as far as you can within the ranks, as well as play as many Siege Cups as you can to get competitive coins to open these exclusive packs.
Oh, there's packs.
In Year 9 Season 3, all console
More
players
packs.
will receive 1 free competitive pack. Move up the ranks, get as many competitive coins as you can, so you can continue to open packs in that collection.
Question. Does that mean that there will no longer be alpha packs given away with the ranked rewards? I guess we'll find out later when they talk about ranked rewards, but just things that cross my mind as I'm hearing these things.
Ranks, get as many competitive coins as you can, so you can continue to open packs in that collection. Starting in Year 9 Season 3,
Yes,
when you're
shooting
waiting for
range
your
raw
next match,
matchmaking.
whether it's in ranked, quick match, or even the Siege Cup, you'll be able to enter the shooting range to stay warmed up,
This is
ready
wonderful.
for your
This
next
is-
match.
this is what we need.
Additionally, we've also added a cover feature within the aiming lane. Now you can have covers pop up from the ground, dummies will hide behind them, and take position as you try to eliminate them as you warm up your aim. Both
Are they bulletproof
PC
cover?
and console players will be able to
Looks like
enter
it.
the
Looks
shooting
like
range
concrete.
during matchmaking. 1v1s have become more popular within Siege,
What about custom
and that's
plays? Yeah,
why
I'm
we've
curious
now
if they
added
will-
a 1v1 custom preset in custom game.
I'm curious if they will make the rules standard for that, or if they will allow you to customize the rules for that as well, because that'd be nice to be able to customize them, because I know that there are some people that play with rules of no prep phase or 60 health instead of 100, stuff like that. So I'm really curious to see what they'll do with that. I guess I should just stop talking and let them go, because
And that's why we've now added a 1v1 custom preset in custom game. There are 2 presets for 1v1s in custom game, short and long. The short preset
14
allows
rounds.
you to play 6 rounds with 4 rounds to win and 1 overtime round. In the long preset, it's the first to 8 rounds, but if the match gets tense and it's really tight, there are 3 overtime rounds. In both of the 1v1 presets, all maps are available.
Cool.
The prep phase has been lowered to 20 seconds. It's perfect for one player to get set up and ready for the attack.
Are those the presets
The
that
bomb
Jinx
game mode
uses?
is the featured game mode in both 1v1 presets. Roles swap every round. You play attack,
I think these are the
then
rules that
defense.
Jinxie plays
This
by
will
when he sets up
continue
his
until
tournaments.
whoever finally wins the match.
With every new season, the question arises, which operators will be targeted for balancing and how
Solus,
they
here it
change.
comes.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't.
Spoilers, it's Solus, Dokkaebi, and Noke.
Noke. I always thought it was
We are
Nook.
implementing the second round of changes for Solis. We know that our previous package was a bit hard.
Are they gonna
We've been
buffer?
monitoring data just to see that everything went well. What we've seen is a decrease in ban rate and also in presence, but a steady trend on win rate. This new wave of changes for Solis is based in 3 pillars. The first pillar is the detection mechanic. Now Solis will use only the center of the screen to detect the gadgets, and those gadgets will be unidentified. You won't know what they are. The second pillar
won't know
is
what they are?
the scanning or identification mechanic. Now we call it overclock, and once you trigger the overclock, your energy is pre-filled, and you'll be able to see every gadget in the center of the screen as identified. You'll know what they are. Aside from that, Solis will emit a warning to every observation tool in the enemy team within the range of detection, so they will know that you are overclocking and that you are seeing their gadgets. The third pillar is the energy access. Now Solis
So it refills your energy to overcloak. What's it called? Overcloaking? Yeah, overcloaking. It refills your energy when you overcloak. That doesn't make any sense to me. That feels like it. Well, it used to drain it completely, and you'd have to recharge when you would scan, and that made a lot of sense to me. But we'll keep watching.
and that you are seeing their gadgets. The third pillar is the energy access. Now Solis Spec IO will last longer and will require less energy to be activated while reloading. Also, these new changes give us more balancing levers that will help us adjust Solis in the future.
Searching for electronics.
Dokkaebi right now can generate a lot of
Okay, so let's talk about Solus. I think having only the middle of the screen scan is probably a good change. It makes her a little bit weaker, and she'll have to be a little bit more skillful about what she's doing and not just be able to scan a larger area at once. Does FOV affect this? Does the screen, does the box on the screen stay the same size whether or not the FOV is different? I'd be really curious about that, because in that case you'd have a larger scan area if your FOV is higher. So that might be something we have to test out. Yeah, I like that change. I think that the overcloaking is interesting. I don't think it's bad that defenders, or that, sorry, I don't think it's bad that attackers will be able to see that Solus is able to see their gadgets. I think it's really interesting that it refills the bar, though. Can you just keep... Oh no, she's only got a certain amount of overcloaks, it looks like, based on this button here. So she can only do that a few times. So that's interesting. I'm really curious to see how that plays out. They didn't... I'll have to get in there and test it, because it looks like they didn't show all the features fully, or all the specifics of it fully, I guess. So we'll just have to go and look at the specifics later. But
Solis in the future.
Searching for
Dokkaebi.
Dokkaebi right now can generate a lot of pressures in defenders, specifically at the beginning of the round. That's why we're taking a look to the resource management in her ability. Now Dokka will start with 0 charges at the beginning of the round, and will get one every 45 seconds, but only up to 2 per round. These changes should reduce the pressure on defenders now. They should have more time to prepare their setup. And Dokkaebi, players will be encouraged to survive longer to have a greater impact in the match. Global abilities like Dokkaebi's Logic Bomb have a great impact in the game, and sometimes with little effort from the players. We are aware of this, and we will take a look at it in the future.
So she's going to get a different
part
nerf
of
later.
Bigger changes for the game.
Or a different change later, I should say.
So Nock is receiving a buff. We think that camera scrubbing and intel deception is how stealth should look in Rainbow, and that's what Nock does. The changes we are making are affecting how Nock's ability consumes energy. Instead of being time-based, they will be action-based. That means that some actions like walking won't consume any of your energy, but if you sprint or shoot, your energy will be consumed. These changes aim to make Nock more patient. We want Nock to be better at flank watching, cutting rotations, and increasing the uncertainty on defenders. We want them to feel like there's a monster in the house. Nock and Smoke's FMG9 is getting a buff. We are reviewing its recoil to make it more comfortable when you're shooting at longer distances, specifically when you're using magnified scopes. The objective of these changes is to improve the player perception and balance of those operators while keeping the frustrations away. There will be more changes in this season. For example, we are taking a look at the proximity alarm and its synergy with Sentry, and also at the delayed timer for explosions on the Claymore.
Let me get this right. Nook can now be invisible to cameras forever? Are they going to make it so that when she's walking even that she gives the glitch to the cameras, or is that still only while she's sprinting? Because that seems really strong, that she can walk and not disturb cameras and not deplete her energy at all. That's kind of crazy. I'm really excited to see how that plays out, because I know that Nook got really popular in Pro League for the basement or the garage push on bank basement. And if that's the case, where she can just use her, or you just walk and not use any of her ability stamina, that's going to be really strong, in my opinion. I think that you could just walk up slowly and catch anybody off guard. That's kind of crazy. You could even not shoot that outside garage camera to make people think that there's nobody over there. What? This is going to be crazy. This is going to be fun.
Sentry, and also at the delayed timer for explosions on the Claymore.
A big update for Versus AI is coming in Operation Twin Shells, as you'll now be able to play as a defender and face off against a squad of attacker bots. For more, here's AI programmer Ariel Moncha Delaire.
Okay, before they get too much further into this, I really hope, if not this season, that at some point in the near future, they add the ability to play a full AI game. So that you can play as a defender for 3 rounds, and then as an attacker for 3 rounds, and then overtime if that's necessary. I think that would be really cool. And then also being able to have AI teammates, so you don't have to matchmake to have teammates on your team or squad up with people. I think that would be, because let's be real, most of the teammates you're going to play with online are bots anyway, so it just makes sense.
Versus AI is a game mode designed for new players to provide them with a safe environment where they can learn and practice before their first ranked experience. In Year 8, Season 4, we introduced Versus AI for the first time. Since then, we keep adding more operators to play with and against, more supported maps, and we keep integrating more AI behaviors. This season will be significant. We're introducing Versus AI 2.0. Given that Siege is an asymmetrical game, we want to give the players the opportunity to play the other side. For the first time, players are going to be able to play the defenders against a full team of AI attackers. The AI attacker team will feature 5 operators: Ash, Thatcher, Termite, Nomad, and Sledge. As a defender, the player will be able to choose between 16 operators, including the new one, Scopos. New players are going to have the opportunity to learn how to react to those attackers' behaviors, but it will also give them some ideas of how to play themselves when it's their turn to play the attackers. Both beginner and advanced game mode are going to offer the full match experience at launch. Similar to a casual game, the player is going to enter as either a defender or an attacker against...
They're playing a sentry. Okay.
Similar to a casual game, the player is going to enter as either a defender or an attacker against a full team of AIs. They're going to play on one of our 8 supported maps, and after 2 rounds, they're going to switch sides. We've heard your feedback, and we want to make sure that Versus AI gives a real feel of what it's like to play Siege.
It's now time to talk about the new operator, Scopos.
Let's get into it.
This street defender brings a new dimension of tactical possibilities to the fight through her twin shells, Talos and Colossus.
Nice CG.
For insight into the visual design of this operator, we'll hear from art director Joanna Sui. And for a breakdown of the new gameplay opportunities she offers, we'll go to game designer Justin Larange Aluwalia.
Wow. What a mouthful that name is. I guess for an American that's a mouthful, but maybe not for a French person.
Scopos is from Ravenshield era, and her name is Coriz Galanos. Her visual design is really based off of her story background and the trauma that she went through. In the anime that was released from the Year 9 Season 1, in the mission there was Daniel Bogard and Gerard Morris at that time trying to stop the bomb maker. In the end, you see a giant explosion, and it was actually exactly that moment where she stopped being able to walk. Ever since then, she's a wheelchair user. She's been in a relentless chase trying to seek prosecution to stop Deimos. All that toll took an effect on her face. She looks very gaunt. She has eye bags, wrinkles, and ragged hair. Scopos is a master strategist. She adapted her wheelchair into her command center like a pilot seat. She uses the shells to be part of the action. In game, you can hear her, you can see her face when you swap between the two shells. When we're designing her wheelchair and the robots, we really had in mind to make sure that she feels very grounded. So we went with analog, old technology look. We really want to establish the fact that it's not smart AI robots. They're not invincible, they can be destroyed. When she loses Talos, Colossus, she's losing a part of her again. So for the design of the robots, we wanted to differentiate the two so you can identify them easily on the field. The difference are in the antennas, the shoulder pads, and colors and patterns are distinct to one another. We made sure to have the analog look by physically having buttons that you can push. They're wires that you can see, and they're not touch screens, they're not holograms, they are something that you can touch and feel.
The other question I have with this is, since operators, when they get elites, usually get different skins for their gadgets, does this mean that Talos and Colossus will have different skins when the elite comes out, if this Scopos ever gets an elite? It'll be interesting to see. But I know that some of the elite gadget skins have had some controversy around them because they might be stronger, such as the Twitch drone elite skin, stuff like that.
Touch screens, they're not holograms, they are something that you can touch and feel.
Back when she was a field agent, Kyurei surveyed the area from afar as a sniper. Now, she still watches from a distance, but in a different way. Thanks to her new tech, Scopos is able to maintain a wide network of control unlike any other defender. That's because what Scopos brings to the field is not one, but two remotely controlled robotic operators. These shells, named Talos and Colossus, make up the V10 Pantheon system. At any given moment, one of Scopos' shells will be in an active state, where it functions like an operator, while the other remains in an idle state, where it functions like a powerful piece of defensive utility. Scopos' control allows her to swap the states of these shells, quickly delivering offensive or defensive power where it's needed most. Scopos' active shell works much like any other operator. It can move, shoot, and use gadgets. It's also Scopos' primary lifeline. If a shell is destroyed while it's active, Kyurei's link is severed, and she's functionally dead for the rest of the round. 2 bodies does not mean 2 lives. Meanwhile, Scopos' idle shell will take on a defensive posture, deploying an integrated shield that functions much like a deployable shield secondary gadget. While in this state, the idle shell can be used as an observation tool by Kyurei and her allies. Additionally, Scopos can access her idle shell's camera directly at any time with the gadget button. While Scopos is looking through her idle shell's camera, she'll have the option to swap shells. Activating the swap sequence will put her active shell into idle mode and put her idle shell into active mode. The only catch is that the active shell needs to be in a position where it can deploy its shield to perform the swap. Scopos' HUD has an indicator that'll make this easier. In fact, Scopos' HUD will display plenty of useful information about both shells, including whether the idle shell is under attack or being affected by an EMP. Scopos is a very tactically oriented operator that requires players to collect data and quickly act on it to maximize her potential. A strong Scopos player is one that makes frequent use of her idle shell to guide the actions of her active shell. For most players, Skopos will likely be a shallow roamer, operating near the bomb site while having the means to extend into a deeper roam or fall back and anchor as needed. If used strategically, she has the power to be one of the most mobile operators in the game. Skopos' idle shell can be a very strong piece of utility. Having the combined properties of a deployable shield and a bulletproof camera, this shield can offer a large amount of intel from relative safety. Skopos' idle shell is most effective when placed in key areas for the defenders to hold so that it can provide information and serve as a launching point for when the enemy least expects it.
Talon's coming out.
Skopos is bringing a brand new gun to Siege.
Okay, before we get to the new gun, 2154. I want to check one thing. He said, shell is destroyed while it's active.
Curie's link is severed, and she's functionally dead for the rest of the round.
Okay, so if the active shell is destroyed, only if the active shell is destroyed. If the inactive shell is destroyed, then she still has control over the other active shell, or over the shell that is currently active. One of the questions that I have about this is, do we actually ever see Skopos, or is it just her shells that we see walking around? It's kind of interesting. Because if that's the case, do we, instead of unlocking operator cosmetics for Skopos herself, do we unlock operator cosmetics for the shells? Because I haven't seen Skopos at once. I haven't seen Skopos at once. I haven't seen her once or at all.
Skopos is bringing a brand new gun to Siege, the PCX-33 assault rifle. Curie may not be bringing a sniper rifle into battle, but make no mistake, her shells are still packing some serious firepower. This weapon is precise, deadly, and heavily customizable, making it a versatile tool for a versatile defender. For a sidearm, Skopos carries a P229, a throwback to Curie's days in the Greek Special Forces. Skopos also has access to secondary gadgets. These are shared between her two shells.
That's what I was going to say.
Her first option is impact grenades, a great choice to maximize her mobility and roaming potential.
So one of the questions I just thought of right there is since they're shared between your two shells, do they both have access to the same stockpile and you just kind of switch back, like, so if you have two to share between the two of them throws one, the other one can throw the other. It's not like they each have one. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me as far as, you know, how it actually works. But and I'm also curious how they share ammo. Do they share ammo reserves as well? I'm assuming so if they share gadgets, but.
A great choice to maximize her two shells. Her first option is impact grenades, a great choice to maximize her mobility and roaming potential. Alternatively, Skopos can bring proximity alarms. These synergize great with her idle shell, helping her know exactly the right time to take action. The Pantheon shells are 2 health, 2 speed operators, having been built for a balance between durability and mobility. Given their unique nature, Skopos' shells have a few special interactions. A good rule of thumb is to think of her active shell as an operator and her idle shell as a gadget. The first interaction you might wonder about is EMPs and gadgets that target electronic devices, like IQ. While Skopos' shells are electronic, the active shell has an active countermeasure that protects it from anti-electronic effects.
Interesting.
It won't completely stop them, but it will prevent Skopos' active shell from being fully disabled by an EMP. This protection doesn't extend to the idle shell, however. Disabling effects will prevent Skopos from using the camera and swap features. Skopos' greatest counter is Dokkaebi. The hacker's calls are a threat to any roamer, but they also block Skopos' strongest escape plan. Additionally, Dokkaebi's universal hack can give her team access to the idle shell's camera. Brava's Kludge drone can overheat Skopos' idle shell. However, this takes a while and gives Curie a warning on her HUD. If she's fast enough, Skopos can swap to activate her countermeasures and prevent the overheat. In addition to being an electronic gadget, Skopos' idle shell's shield can be destroyed with explosives and similar effects, leaving the idle shell exposed for an easy kill. The glass can also be shattered, preventing allies from fully benefiting from its utility. A well-placed ash charge, frag grenade, or florist drone can make quick work of an undefended idle shell. The biggest threats to Skopos are her direct counters, so she benefits greatly from allies who protect her from them. Catchers like Jaeger and Wamai.
This to me, especially coming off of the Spectre Divide beta that just happened, seems like it plays a lot like that, where you've got a body, a Spectre that you don't control, and you just swap back and forth between the two. You got that little bit of duality, which is kind of funny that they came out with that the same season that Spectre Divide came out with its beta. I'm sure Siege was working on this well before Spectre Divide came out, but kind of interesting that they both came out with that at the same time.
Can protect your idle shell from explosives, and other denial gadgets, like those from Mute, Mozzie, and Tubrow, can stop many of Skopos' greatest enemies. Being made of metal, Skopos' shells can't benefit from healing effects. Doc's stims, Thunderbird's Kona stations, and Rook's armor won't help the shell.
That's really cool.
They also can't get put in a down state, and they don't breathe, meaning they're immune to toxic effects like smoke and Fenrir. That last fact can open the floor to some aggressive combos.
Yeah. Immune to smokes and Fenrirs. That's kind of crazy.
Another strong approach to Skopos is to double down on intel. Maestro, Valkyrie, and Echo can offer more insight into enemy positions and even provide some distractions. That can be more than enough to let Skopos get into position and go for the kill.
I bet that's so
Skopos
loud
is
though,
designed to
changing
embody
to your
the key aspects of
inactive
being a defender.
shell.
Gathering information and swiftly responding to attacker strategies. Skopos brings a level of adaptability that, if left unchecked, can turn the tide on even the strongest of attacks. We'll be keeping a close eye on her in the test server and throughout the season to see what players can do with her.
Loading new map.
Yeah, overall, I think I'm generally not too picky of a person. I think it'll be interesting for sure. I think the last season was pretty underwhelming as far as content changes, so it's cool to see the different changes coming to the current operators. Solus, Dokkaebi, Nook. I think that'll really mix up the game as well as having the new operator, but we'll see. It'll be cool having the new ace will be 6 kills if that defender is playing, because if you can kill the inactive body as well, you get an extra kill. So that'd be kind of interesting. So I think that's it. That's it. Get out of here. Thanks for coming by. Like and subscribe. Super fun. Have a good one.